Okay, my name is Judd Beam. This is my hometown speech. I'm going to start my speech off with the quote by Saint Benedict. It is from the Rule of Saint Benedict. It is, "Let all guests be welcomed as Christ." So if you look here, this is a road. This is the road here that leads into where my hometown speech is talking about, and it's going to be Conception, Missouri. And this is basically the whole part of Conception, Missouri that I'll be talking about right here. Conception Abbey, Conception Seminary College, as well as the Abbey Church or the Basilica. So this is Conception, Missouri. This is kind of an overall map view of Conception, Missouri, an aerial view. As you can see here, this is where the main buildings are. We have the seminary is right here. This is a residence hall this is where the sophomores and freshmen would stay. It's also where a gym is. There's a gymnasium there, as well as a stage for where the seminarians would do their annual theater production. This is the seminary. It's called St. Mauer Hall. That's where the seminarians would have all their classes, and where the oratory is, where the seminarians would have prayer most of the time. Right here and right here are two residence halls or guest houses. This is also a guest house. This is St. Gabriel's, named after the Archangel St. Gabriel. And this is St. Benedict Hall and the Marian Hall. Right here is the sports facility. This is where there's a gymnasium, there's a racquetball court. There's also a lot of weightlifting and weightlifting equipment, as well as cardio equipment, so like treadmills. Right here is St. Joseph Hall. This is where the upperclassmen, the juniors and seniors of the seminary would stay. It is also where the location of the library is. It's also part of St. Joseph Hall is the refectory where we would eat all of our meals. Right here is the Basilica Church. It is the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception. This is where the monks pray. This is where the seminarians would have mass every day. And then right here is where the monastery is. That's where the monks stay. And then we have an infirmary right here. And that in the infirmary is where the monks or seminarians who are sick would go, or monks that are of old age would stay there. It works as a nursing home and an infirmary. And there's also a chapel there. So we're going to first talk about Conception Abbey a little bit more. So the Abbey was founded in 1873, and in 1876 it became a priory. Okay. By 1881 it was elevated to an abbey. And to this day it remains an abbey, and it holds about 60 to 70 monks. Okay. So this picture right here is the picture of the newly added infirmary. This is the sanctuary part where Mass would be held. We have the altar down here, the tabernacle, and the crucifix, and a stained glass window of Mary, Mother of God, and St. Joseph. So that is where the monks who are in the infirmary would have Mass. Right up here is a winter picture of the monastery of the abbey, where this is where the monks stay, and this is during the winter time. And right here is where is in the Basilica. the Abbey Church, the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception, and this is the monks praying. They pray towards each other. So there'd be a bunch of monks there'd be a bunch of monks here, and there'd be a bunch of monks here, and they'd be chanting back and forth towards each other. And so the monks, whenever they pray the office of the Liturgy of the Hours, also known as the office, where they pray the Psalms and readings and many other things, and they chant all of that. It's all in chant. This is also where throughout the week the seminarians would have mass with the monks, and the monks have daily mass. They have mass or a church service every day of the week. Monday through Saturday it's in the mornings, and then Sunday it's even earlier in that morning. This is the Seminary College. Okay. The seminary was founded in 1886, and at that time it was the College of New Engelberg. New Engelberg is in Switzerland, and that is the name of the abbey that Conception Abbey originates from. Okay. And at that time, it was very new. It was very new to the town. In 1842, the name of the college became Conception Seminary, and at that time it was just a name change. So whenever it was first College of New Engelberg, it was high school. It was a 12-year program, so it was high school, college seminary, and major seminary. Okay, so it was a 12-year thing that they had, and at that time it was around the 500 range of enrollments. After the Second Vatican Council, in the year 1772, the name changed to Conception Seminary College, and it became just a minor seminary. So the major seminary, the last 4 years of the seminary formation was removed, as well as the high school formation. So it was just the college seminary. And so here, this is just one of the classrooms where Archbishop Jerome, the retired archbishop, or one of the retired archbishops and a former abbot, is teaching class to some of the seminarians. This is St. Maur Hall. This is where we had all of our classes. And this is the oratory, where we would have mass once or twice a week, and we would do all of our Liturgy of the Hours prayers, morning prayer and evening prayer, and officer readings in here. And this is located in the top, on the top floor, all the way right here in St. Maur. And that's also where we would have mass. That's where we would have mass and where we would pray. The Basilica of the Immaculate Conception, the cornerstone was laid in 1883 and was dedicated in 1881 to the Immaculate Conception of Mary. Just 2 years after it was dedicated, in 1893, it was hit by a tornado, and it had to be rebuilt. And whenever it was rebuilt, the Burin murals were added to it. In 1941, Pope Pius XII dedicated it as a minor basilica. He declared it a minor basilica, which means if the Pope was to come, that's the church he would go to. There are many other basilicas that he's gone to when he's come to the U.S., but he could go to Conception Abbey. In fact, he has been invited to do that. In 1991, after a 9 million campaign that lasted 20 years, the basilica went through a restoration, and this is what it looks like now on the inside. So here on the inside, this is from the very back, the main doors of the church, and you see up here on the sky in the ceiling, you have pictures of angels, as well as it looks like the night sky where there's stars, and that symbolizes heaven. And then along here on the sides and on the ground, on the sides, you have these murals of saints and others that are also, those tell the story of Mary, Joseph, Jesus, and Saint Benedict. And right here, you might not be able to see it very well, is a mural of Our Lady of Saint Mary, the Mother of Jesus, in which the Basilica is dedicated after. Up here is a stained glass window that is at the entrance of the church, the main entrance, and it's of Jesus's. You have Jesus here, and you have two cherubim angels on each side. So right here is another view, more from the choir stalls where the monks would pray, looking to the back of the church where the main doors are, as well as the stained glass window. And this is one of the monks preparing, putting page numbers onto a sign so that the monks getting ready to pray. And this is another view. This is the baptismal font, and this is a picture of the basilica during Christmas time. It's very dark, but this is the baptismal font, and it's going towards, just like the first picture, it's going towards the altar. And the monks and priests would process through there. And I'm going to close this, or end this, by quoting the great Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump. That's all I have to say about that.